Yo, what is up, guys? This is going to be a bit of a different video today. I just kind of want to have a bit of a story time, really. Um, Probably not many of you know, but I actually have ADHD, and I just want to talk about how it's affected me over the years with education and that kind of thing. So many years ago, when I was probably about 5 years old, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And at the time, like, all the so-called experts didn't really know what ADHD was. And as a matter of fact, none of anyone with ADHD really knew either, because we have no idea. Like, we have less clue than the experts do, probably. But I suppose if you think about it, experts have less idea because we kind of know how our minds work now. Whereas, like, growing up is a different kind of ball game, because you kind of, I don't know how to speak this. Like, I scripted this video like before, but I just want to like have a real talk. Like, scripting's like a joke, really, to be honest. But so starting out, when I was in primary school, I was excluded pretty much every year, which obviously caused a lot of strain on my family because they'd have to like pull me out of school during the middle of the week. So it made it harder. It mean that my mum used to have to work nights, if that makes sense. So she had to be around in the day and work nights. So there was always someone who could be there just to pull me out. So I got excluded every year at school, in primary school. And come the year 6 SATs, I was told I'm not going to get into secondary school. I'm not going to achieve any of my SATs, and I won't get the required grades. So around come the exams, and to the surprise of all the teachers, I ended up with a 5, and a 4, which is pretty decent results for a normal person, let alone someone with ADHD. And it meant that I would go into mainstream secondary school. When I got into secondary school, it was the same story. Like, I think the problem with primary school, I just wasn't interested in any of it at all. I've never really been interested in kind of education, but more so in secondary school, it just wasn't really for me. Like, I'm gonna say this now, like, education is just not my thing. I'm not interested in it. Like, I have the ability, I'm just not interested. And that kind of sucks because, like, the amount of grades, thinking back, like, I could have achieved are completely different from what I actually got. So we make our way through secondary school, and most of the teachers didn't even know what ADHD was. So it was kind of a struggle, so they couldn't provide the support that I needed personally. So most of them thought I was lazy, and one teacher had no knowledge that ADHD even existed, which is pretty mad considering education. You must come across more than one ADHD student, you know? But anyway, nonetheless, I make my way through to the end of GCSEs, and I'm told that I'm not going to achieve any of them. Which, at the end of the day, if I didn't achieve GCSEs, then I'm not going to get a job in the future. So there was massive pressure on me to actually achieve and gain the GCSEs. And in the end, after all was said and I can't even speak. All was said and done, I achieved 9 GCSEs A star to C, which is pretty decent for anyone, you know. And all this time the teachers were thinking I'm lazy and that I just don't want to do the work, that kind of thing. I just wasn't interested. I had no interest in it. I put most of the work in the like lead up to the exams. So the final like projects and exams, that's when I put the work in, and I still got my grades. I mean, I was always predicted decent grades because, not blowing my own trumpet, but my knowledge has always been there. Like, I've always kind of had the ability, I just didn't want to use it. So then it came to the situation, like, what do I do next with my life? Do I take another 2 years of teachers telling me that I'm not going to get A-levels? Of course I do. I go into my A-levels, I put little to no effort in, standard. In the end, I'm told I'm not going to come out with any A-levels, and I actually achieve CDD, which wasn't really enough for university. It didn't add up to UCAS points, but I decided by that point that I actually wanted to go to university. So I enrolled into a college, and I enrolled on the Art and Design Foundation course. So it would give me the extra UCAS points in order to get the required UCAS points I needed to get into a university. So So I do that, I go through that year. At the start of the year I probably had a major setback. It was something personal that happened, it's in the past, it doesn't matter now, but something happened and it just threw me off course, and I just spent the whole year disinterested in the course. I wasn't interested, I still had my heart set on uni. So we come around to applying. I applied to some universities, I go through interview after interview, getting rejected. And at the end of all my interviews, I only have one option, and it's a conditional place at one of the universities. So I had my heart set on it, and I needed a merit to get into this university. And when it came to results day, because I've been like flunking a year, I've just not been interested, I ended up with a pass, which wasn't good enough. So by this point I'm like freaking out, I'm like, I'm not going to university because I didn't get the points I needed. But so on the day of clearing, I set my alarm for 7 o'clock, and I'm thinking I'm going to get up and just apply for any university I can, try and get in. And I actually got a text message from the university that I applied for and got an offer from, and they basically confirmed my place, which at the time I was freaking out. I was like, this is amazing, like I'm going to university. I wasn't meant to get into secondary school, like how crazy is that? But yeah, and then a familiar story happened at university. The first year I just like kind of messed about and nothing really happened, and then I grew more and more disinterested through my university course, and at points I did want to drop out, I really did, but I stuck with it, and at the end of the day I got myself a degree. And that is pretty crazy, coming from being at the point of not going to be in secondary school to having a degree. That's a massive achievement for someone like myself. Like with ADHD, I've struggled all my life, but achieving a degree is something massive, and I want to like thank my family and everyone for their support like throughout the years. Honestly, I couldn't do it without them, but it's just a massive achievement. And I think that it's one of those things where you should never give up. Like no matter how hard it seems at the time, you should never give up on it. You've really got to pull through. But definitely down to my family for the support throughout the years. Couldn't have done it without them. I mean, that's my little story time there. This is just a test for my microphone really, but yeah, we'll end the video on that. See you in the next one.